Well, hello there. 5 more days, people. Just 5 more days until Wuthering Waves comes out. Dude, I'm so freaking hyped, man. And with the release date getting closer and closer, I was thinking about making a video about pulling for Jiyan or just skipping him and saving up for Yinlin. I think you know which one I'm gonna do, but there's actually a good debate to be made for the both of them. So I was getting ready to make the video, but I guess Doggo beat me to it. But I just thought to myself, well, he's probably going to explain it way better than I do. And he actually played the CBT. And he's funny, so yeah. I just thought, okay, I'll just watch his video and give my opinions and thoughts on it that way. So, spill the facts, my dog.
Firstly, though.
Here you are.
Oh, dear lord.
Firstly, though.
Dear lord. Oh my god. I mean, respectfully, but yeah. Okay, I don't need to watch the rest of the video. That's about it. But dude, holy.
Firstly, though.
Oh, dear holy. Oh my god, man. This is just how can I pull for Jiyan when I know he exists? But hold up, man. Doggo's looking mighty fine here as well, man. God damn. Forget about Jiyan and Yinlin. I'm poking for Doggo, man. I'm polling for Doggo. God damn, he's looking fine.
Skip jiyan because you want to get dominated by Yinlin.
Oh.
Allow me to pose this question to you. Should you actually pull for jiyan or save for Yinlin? And you can tell I'm legit by the way I'm suited up here. But anyways, if you're
God
unaware,
damn, yes he is.
jiyan will be the first limited banner that will be available the moment the game releases. While
Actually, one more
if you're
thing.
unaware, jiyan will be the
Here's the thing. Yes, I'm personally more gravitated towards pulling for Yinlin. But the thing about Jiyan's banner is that, dude, like, there are some really good 4-stars here. And for the early game, I think having a decent 4-star is actually pretty important. So, I don't know, man. It's just tough, man. It's just really tough to decide.
limited banner that will be available the moment the game releases. While Yinlin should be the
Oh, dear lord. Dear lord. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot on this video, but god damn.
second banner after jiyan. You want
Dude, let me just see her again.
the moment the game releases. While Yinlin
God damn, boy. God damn, boy. Jesus. Dude, look at her eyes, man. Just look at her eyes. And obviously, everything else. Oh, okay, I'm gonna stop pausing this much.
should be the second banner after jiyan. You want to be able to pull the character that's most suitable for you, which is why we have the PowerPoint slide today. Jiyan versus Yinlin, who to save for? By Molesta. If you're an OG, you know about this guy. We'll start with a conclusion right away, but let's start with some disclaimers. All of the information that you see here are based on CBT3 that I gathered from mainly Billy. There are people who really ran a lot of tests and dumped in like hundreds of hours in the CBT.
Dude,
This
the
video aims to
CN
bring what they
community
found to
when
you.
gets
I'll link
to
every
meet
source and
Maxine.
reference in the description down below. And now we can finally start the
Ego
conclusion.
deep.
Jiyan here is a self-sufficient main DPS that's ideal when used with supports like say Mortefic. You should pull for Jiyan if you want an all-rounder DPS. As for Yinlin,
Look,
she's a god tier support.
Listen, you can just pull for Jiyan if you like a freaking dragon, alright? You're telling me I can have a fusion dance of Zhao and Danny Boy, and he's a freaking chat? I'm all about that. But when it comes to her, it's just a whole other deal.
Slash sub DPS. Ideal with a strong main DPS like Calcharo. In fact, the best pairing is with Calcharo. You want to pull Yinlin if you already have a strong DPS to begin with. Long story short, you need to let her support someone. And if your attention span is not nurtured by TikTok, let's actually break down Jiyan. What does he do and where's his value at? What are the problems? Let's see. Now, if I go through their entire kit, this video will take forever, and not to mention CB3 information.
Dude, the fact
changed
that
when time
the
comes to
dragon
release.
follows
so what I'll
him
do is
around
I'll
is just
summarize
so
what they do
cool.
with this point here. Jiyan's ultimate gathers enemies, which means he's good in AoE scenarios. If you don't know, the moment you activate Jiyan's ulti, he starts using like dragons that just gathers all enemies into one single spot. You can attack them again and again. Comparatively to someone like Calcharo, he does attack anyone in front of him, but if there's anyone around him, he may not be able to deal that much damage to them unless you know, go out your way to target them. This does...
I mean, like, having both of them is good. Like, Calcharo, I mean, obviously I'm going for Calcharo on my free, like, 5-star, let's say, selector, but, I mean, when you look at the early game, yes, Jiyan is probably going to be better than Calcharo, but if we look at it, like, long-term, and the fact that Yinlin is, like, the best support for Calcharo, and they're both, like, insane, I mean, come on, man. And when you can get Calcharo just for free, it just makes it really hard just pulling for Jiyan. But the problem is, like, he has a freaking dragon, alright?
Pose the issue of Jiyan perhaps being weaker in single target scenarios compared to someone like Calcharo. It's like they're different specialists, right? One's good versus multiple enemies, one's good against one boss. We'll come back to that later though.
I mean,
the
even
first
when you look
reason
at
that
the
you want to
spiral
really think of
abyss,
pulling on Jiyan's
like,
banner is of course the banner value as
you
well.
don't
With
need
the official
single
release
targets,
coming, we
alright,
don't have a lot
for
of
the
characters,
bosses.
right? Sure, we get some free ones, but there are a lot of insane 4-stars that's just still hidden in the banner. And with Jiyan's banner, the value in the 4-stars are pretty damn good. That's rated up. We got Dungeon, Mortafi, and Shisia. Now, Dungeon is the strongest 4-star DPS that takes her own health in exchange for damage.
Like,
because
they're
of this
not
high
gonna
risk,
let her
high
stay
reward
like
scenario,
that.
her damage output is out of this world. And then we have Mortafi. This guy is one of the best 4-star supports you can get for Jiyan, because not only with his ultimate, he activates an extra attack the moment your ally does any heavy attacks, which Jiyan does a lot of with his ulti especially. Plus, Mortefi does boost heavy attack damage. A perfect partner for Jiyan. So if you like Jiyan, pull on his banner. You get his best partner in crime as well.
You
That
can
would just
basically
be a starter
fit the
team
two
right
of them
there.
in
And
just one
considering in
banner.
Wuthering Waves, the Abyss needs you to have like 3 teams. So when we don't have that many characters to just pull a Jiyan and, you know, Luxac and Mortefi and just call that a team, it's really good. So those are the pros in my opinion for Jiyan. Let's take a look at the problems, right? Jiyan's problem is that the numbers that he can deal against a singular boss is weaker compared to, say, someone like Calcharo that's a specialist in more single target scenarios. See, in Abyss, just like in Genshin Impact, there are mobs that just gather around, shoot you with projectiles. Those people are very annoying. With Jiyan, you could gather all of them to the same place and hit the elite as well in the same time. It makes it so much easier. But conversely, when you're...
But here's the thing. If the free 5-star selector wasn't there, I would probably say yeah, just pull for Jiyan, because you do need a like decent DPS in the early game. But I mean, yes, it's a skill-based game. You can just beat it even with the 4-stars. But the fact that they just let you pull Calcharo is like a whole other situation in itself. And here's the thing, like, DPSs do usually get power creep. So I think pulling for a character that you actually like is way more important, because even if they do get power creep, you still like the character and you're okay with playing with them. But supports are usually more future proof, you know. So even if you're looking for mid-maxing, Yinlin is probably a better choice.
fighting a boss enemy, Jiyan's ability to gather enemies pretty much gets voided. Like, you don't need to gather one enemy. On top of that, because the way he's designed to attack multiple enemies at once against a singular boss, at least in CPD3 after testing by, you know, what I found on DCN side, his numbers are simply never higher than Calcharo against a singular boss. Which, considering Calcharo is a standard banner character that you could get by, you know, self-selecting them, makes you really question if you want to get Jiyan or not. But you know what? Before we just say, you know, skip him, we need to understand Yinlin's story as well. So let's just put a pin on this guy by saying the ideal option is to decide based on your beginner's pull. If you already pulled a Calcharo, you luck-sacked it, right? A beginner, you know, 50 pull for pity. You got Calcharo, well, you don't need a DPS over, right? You might as well just, you know, think about skipping him if you like who you got as a main DPS. But if you only got Verena for a beginner pulse, maybe you can think about Jiyan, because Verena plus the 4-star Danjin could be a team. Verena plus Jiyan could be a team as well. There's gonna be a lot of freedom here, but you know what? Let's just compare it to Yinlin. You know, never know. If she's terrible, then you might as well get Jiyan. I wish I played the CBT, man. Ain't terrible. Let's take a look at Yinlin. Firstly, though.
Oh, dear Lord! No! No! I mean, I love AFK Journey, but no! God damn, man!
Let's just say when
God damn! Dude, I don't know if I'll be able to survive when the game comes out, man. I might as well just get a heart attack. Oh dear lord.
you
She's
look
so
at her,
mighty
you
fine.
just want to be a chair. Or at least that's the case for me. Horny aside though, let's take a look at what she truly does. To like summarize her abilities, right? We got that first point here. She has incredible buffs, especially for the electro element. To put it bluntly, she already gives you more damage, just generally. Everyone will benefit from this, but additionally, she boosts electro damage even more. So that's why you want to pair her with Calcharo, which is an electro character. Point number 2, she aids short-ranged main DPS in dealing with multiple enemies. The reason being with how her kit...
I mean, I don't know if you have seen her animations, but god damn. God freaking damn.
works, right? Her ultis and AoE. Her fourth circuit skill helps deal with anyone who's marked. Like you can probably see on the screen right now, a lot of the tiny mobs will just get hit by Yinlin. That helps someone like Calcharo a lot, which really targets down one enemy rather than everyone around him. Just help clear out the little mobs, right? And that's why Yinlin
AoE focus as well.
Yes, to just clear the weeds out. But here is the issue with Yinlin. She's not a main DPS. You need someone else to play that role. If you use Yinlin and you have her be on the field and you just want her to attack everyone, her damage isn't that bad though, I'll say that. But it will never get above, say, a jiyan, an encore, or well, a Calcharo. So if you're a newer player, you say you want to save for Yinlin, make sure you have a main DPS already. If your entire account is filled with Verena, or just anyone that doesn't mainly do damage, then Yinlin can't even use her ability that well to help your main DPS, right? So in this sense, compared to Jiyan is the guy that does damage. He's the guy that you want to take to the field and use as the damage dealer, right? So you can see a bit of a difference there, but we'll actually have a direct comparison later. The next point, she is ideal with Calcharo and less ideal, but still good with anyone else. So if you play, say, Honkai...
I mean, listen, the fact that she just gives a damage bonus just makes her universal, alright? So even down the line, if another DPS comes out, and especially a Electro DPS, she's still gonna be pretty darn good, alright?
Genshin, like you got the support archetype of characters, so let's say Bennett, let's say Bronya from Honkai Sharo. These are the characters where most of the time your main DPS can be whoever, they will still benefit that DPS. Certainly Yinlin plus Calcharo will be the most ideal, you know, match made in heaven. But to get Yinlin in your account means that any DPS you use will benefit from Yinlin. So in that sense, she's quite versatile. But moving on though, we do have the final point. When you are starting out, you have no, like not that much characters at least to work with, where you want to build a lot of teams for Abyss. So 4 stars are actually important in this game. You want to get good 4 stars. Like you can't just pull up with 3 teams of full 5 stars, right? At least not at the start. For Yinlin's banner, at least based on CVP, we get Taochi, Alto, and Yuan, who has the 4-star radar. Now Taochi, I think, is actually a pretty underrated character. To summarize what she does, she's a defensive scaler that does damage as well. She can also self-sustain, so a pretty all-round character too. I actually think she's a pretty decent 4-star. Next up, we have Alto. Now Alto does give you 30% arrow damage increase with his Ultra skill, but unlike Yinlin, that's generally helpful, Alto only helps arrow damage, which means he's good with GN. And finally, we have Yuan, which isn't really that strong in CBT at least. He doesn't really buff your allies or anything. His damage isn't that insane either, which is why as a whole, the banner value on Yinlin's banner is just lower than what we had before. But Danjin, with more Tefi from before, that's pretty good. Honestly, the whole 4-star rate up thing is like, you know, it's hit or miss. You don't want them to be in the driver's seat. Oh, I will pull for Jin's banner just because of the 4 stars. I think that's really not what you want to do. You want to decide which 5-star to go for. Those are to be the juices, which is why we have our next slide. Direct comparison. From what I've gathered from all the resources as well, and you know, listening to what people have been saying, we can compare both of them in these 3 factors. Firstly, damage. Let's say in terms of damage, GN is certainly better than Yinlin if they're both on a 1 versus 1 comparison, no allies, right? But that's not even a good comparison because, well, GN's a DPS, Yinlin's a sub DPS, that's support. Which for someone that supports your team, well,
I mean, yes, she can be a DPS, and I'm gonna definitely try that, but I mean, when you look at it, it's like Calcharo and Yinlin, man, it's just so freaking good. It's just such a good match.
You guessed it, right? Yinlin plus Calcharo will be better than GN plus any support that we have in the game.
Yes.
This is mostly due to the fact that we don't have a crazy arrow support yet that could match Yinlin. And the game just started. We got the first Electro Giga support in Yinlin. So that's why Calcharo as an Electro DPS just gets really good. That's the first factor. Let's move on to the second one. Team comps. This is important because we don't have a lot of characters to work with usually at the start. Jiyan helps out with that a lot because he prefers support that could be 4 stars, say Alto or Mortefi. Mortefi is a rate up in Jiyan's banner as well, so you could just get both of them and you have your team. As for Yinlin, she needs a main DPS ally. You could not use it, but it would just not be that smart, right? You want to utilize Yinlin's kit to its fullest, and by saying that, you want to have a Calcharo. If you don't have a Calcharo, well, say you got an Encore, she can still help out any DPS, right? Just ideally, you want an Electro DPS. Heck, if you got GN, you can even use GN plus Yinlin. So I would say, honestly, these two, versatility-wise, Yinlin is just more versatile if you have main DPSs, but GN isn't that restrictive as well that you must have a certain support. There's a lot of 4 stars option. Of course, Verita works beautifully too, which moves us to the third point, future-proof or not. I think GN...
I don't know. It's just the fact that I haven't played the CBT, or it's just that, dude, these freaking names, man. I mean, the thing is, when you make, I know, like, they're Chinese names and they're pretty, I think, understandable for the CN community, but just make the name simple and memorable, you know? I mean, for everything that Hoyoverse does really bad, they're pretty good at making, like, memorable characters. It feels like they're actually alive in their own world. I don't know how to exactly put it, but they feel like real characters, alright? As I said, they don't feel like just another anime character in a video game, okay?
GN has a higher chance of being replaced. Allow me to explain. Based on CBT3's numbers, GN is set to not do as much damage as Calcharo. So already I could proudly say that, yo, if I got Calcharo plus Yinlin, I'm gonna use that instead of using, you know, GN in terms of just pure damage output, right? Cool, it would be very ridiculous to say in the future there's gonna be no other DPS that gets released that cannot be better than the whole standard banner combined. Because come on,
qualifications to play
to cook up the hype. It's just the same with any games, which is why I think GN will be really good at the start. But he'll slowly get matched by more and more characters, and of course the newer releases as well might just outshine him in a sense. But this is not to say he's gonna be bad, he'll just be matched in the future. As for Yinlin though, she certainly has a lower chance of being replaced. With how they designed Yinlin to buff damage plus buff electro damage as well, you can expect the support to come in a ways of where they are elemental based. So at some point you'll see a spectral main supported and buff spectral damage plus some form of other damage as well. There's a really low chance that they'll just outright push.
Imagine if they made a support that buffs all type of damage with. I mean, surely they wouldn't. Surely not. I mean, surely.
Out another electro support to just completely replace Yinlin, which means as long as they're an electro DPS in the game, Yinlin will be usable. Plus, the fact that she's a support, you can swap out any DPS. Ideally, you want Calcharo, but any DPS that comes out, you can put them with Yinlin. The versatility and usability that she has makes it so that, just like any other games, the supports are usually not the ones that gets replaced much, the main DPSs are. It's the same for a lot of games, I'm sure you understand. But of course, this is all just CBP3 information. Things could change by official release. So that...
Like, when I look at Dong Hong in Honkai Star Rail, it's like, dude, he literally got power crept by his own chat version. And then not just Honkai, you know, it's like in every gacha game, DPSs do get power crept, alright? It's just a fact. If they don't, then people won't have a reason to pull. I mean, yes, obviously... people pull on gacha games because they like the character, but for the people that look for mid-maxing is just a whole other situation.
That was the direct comparison. Let's go on with the conclusion. This is the same slide as the first one, which if you've listened to me yap about every detail that I could find, perhaps it helped you out. But I'll share to you my own conclusion now. To me, all of this does not matter because it's a skill-based game. You could pull GN, you could pull the worst character or the best character, does not matter. All of them have their own mechanic, own timing, own way to play. Some you want parries, some you want evades, some you want spam skills, which means that this game has less of an emphasis on a meta that people need to gather around it. It's more so people need to build their own lane and master the skill. If you love GN and you main GN, you can still do insane damage, even out damaging Calcharo if they're on the hands of like a guy that doesn't know how to play them yet. So long story short, pull whoever the hell you want to play with. But if you're a guy that's like just dead set, I want the most strongest meta like team comps. And I think, unfortunately or fortunately, the easiest answer here, you want to pull Yinlin. Jiyan's specialty of being able to gather enemies and then hit them all at once is covered by Yinlin helping Calcharo with all her ulti, with all her short circuit skill as well. If you are chasing for the highest damage ceiling, that's what you want to go for. You want to grab Calcharo from either the Self Selector or Beginner Banner. You want to grab Yinlin. You can probably skip Jiyan if you're going for full meta. But again, important to note, skill-based game, okay? So that should be all for my conclude.
Okay, screw everything Doggo said. I have my proof right here. I don't need anything else, alright? I have it right here.
I forgot. See, for some of you, you're like not convinced.
Dear
this
Lord.
is how I convince you, okay? I
am convinced. I don't need anything else.
Okay, now seriously, we're about...
That's respectable. I'm not gonna lie that, but personally, I am convinced, alright? Even if they look like Zoro states, I'm still gonna pull for Yinlin, okay? I'm still gonna pull for
I can
her.
get around some good pecs when I see one. So those are the last words of my pitch. Like, I think I've done it beautifully. I think I've just convinced like at least 2,000 people that didn't want GN to be like, oh wait, hold on a minute. And now we're at the donkey. That is all for today's PowerPoint slide. I hope I helped you out, and remember, all of these information are based on CBD3.
You did, Doggo. Yes, you did, man. That was a great video. Okay, I hope you have decided on who to pull. Well, I certainly have. But as always, I'm Spike, and that's all I have for this one. See you in the next one. Bye!